don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. The air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. And we sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living rooms. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman, because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value. So, I want you to get up now. I want all of you to get up out of your chairs. I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is the 401st episode of the Political Spotlight. I am your host, Kristopher H. Bilbrey. I hope you're doing well. Hey, we've got an action-packed show for you tonight. I'm really glad a lot of you are here, because I was kind of afraid that by the thumbnail that I put up, most of you might have thought that there wasn't actually going to be a show tonight. And I didn't actually think about the fact that it looked like we weren't actually doing a show. I was hoping that everybody would realize that with there being a number and a title and the description, that we were literally having a show. So the title for tonight's show is To Be Continued. And the reason it's titled To Be Continued is because literally every aspect of everything that we're going to talk about tonight is going to be something that there's no resolution to. And some of these things, it's like, not that big a deal. Some of these things, it's maddening. Some of these things it's just par for the course. So it is what it is. Here's the thumbnail for tonight's show, To Be Continued, episode 401. Hey, yeah, you guys are super smart. You're the best, most intelligent audience that there is going, so I definitely understand that, and I thank you all for that. While we're talking to you guys, the best, most attractive, smart, and intelligent audience there is going, I want to ask you to please hit the thumbnail. Hit the thumbnail, hit the thumb, give us thumb us, if you will, give us a like, share the show with everyone you know, help spread the word, and get all that message out. If you're here live being Thursday night, February 27th at 9 p.m. or a little after, comment over here. If you're here via the future, via replay and all of that jazz, comment down below. And help spread the word. Do all of that stuff. We would greatly appreciate it. For those of you that want to reach out, want to contact us, want to follow us on social media, you know how to do that. All you have to do is follow us on Facebook. We've got 2 Facebook pages, and we've got the YouTube, the Rumble, all of that. That's all there at the bottom of the screen. So if you need anything like that, please check us out. Okay, so I also need to cut in just for a second and talk to you about a couple of things. Then we're going to hit some breaking news. So I want to tell you, all right, number one, there's a lot going on in a lot of different places. And I always get this thing that happens when, so for example, I go on a roll and there's a lot going on in Henry County, and we're doing a Sproles roll for like 4, 5, 6 days in a row. And I get people saying, hey, you're not covering Muncie, or, I've got one guy that tells me like, hey, you're not covering anything in Union City. And I'm like, dude, that's pretty far away. Let me know what you need and I can help you, but I need people on the ground there that are willing to fight the fight too. You can't call me to Union City and expect me to fight the fight in Union City and nobody else have anything to do with it. Like I'll be there, and I'm not even going to be someone that hides in the background. Like I'll stand chest to chest with you, toe to toe with the enemy, but I can't be from out of town doing it all on my own. So, send me something from wherever you live, but I need your help there too. That's the big thing. So I want to address something, because it makes me feel bad, because I think I got a little shitty with Catherine, and I'm not mad at Catherine. I'm not mad at anybody. So here's the deal. I'm going to tell you, there's a lot going on. Specifically, there's a lot that's going on around these reorganizational meetings, and there's a lot of insanity happening, and it sucks for me here in Delaware County. It's been kind of like a dud. Nobody was going to run. Ed was just going to get it. The Democrat Party, sucks. It doesn't matter what goes on there. Ed was not going to run. Then we got a slate, and it's just kind of like, what? So it's not that big a deal. I've told you all since the beginning of this thing that the two big issues that I'm following for this Saturday, March 1st, is Marion County and Madison County. They're where the two big fights are going to be, and that's what we're going to be looking into. And I don't really have anyone in Madison County. I mean, I just follow it, so I'm interested. But we've got a connection in Madison County. We've been following that. And so this week, going into Saturday the 1st, we have been very Madison County centric, and it's been that way for a minute because we've been pushing a fight. And I appreciate all of my Madison County listeners and everybody that's been following us. And I appreciate Catherine and everybody over there that helps out. I just want to let everyone know, everyone's like, well, this is just Madison County all the time. It's just because that's what's been going on. I promise you, after the 1st, once this fight happens, it'll go back to normal. Catherine will come on like once a week or once every 2, whenever shit goes on. But we got to focus on what we're focusing on. And if we can make a change or a difference in one place, that's very important. So that's why it's been that way. So I want to tell everybody that it's kind of like the weather. If you don't like what we're talking about, just hang tight. It won't be too long till we're focusing on something else going on again. So I want to let everybody know that first and foremost. Okay. So I know we have some big important stuff to cover in Muncie. We've got some big important stuff to cover from the state level. I've got some national stuff I'm going to talk about here in just a moment. I do want to let everybody know, so you're not all freaked out. Number one, like we've said from the last 2 weeks, we are going to do a show tomorrow. Friday, we're normally off. We're normally off on Fridays and Saturdays. Tomorrow, we're going to do a show, and Catherine's going to be on tomorrow because it's ahead of what's happening. And then we're going to do a show on Saturday where we recount if our side wins or if Russ pulls off some kind of cheat code or something. So we're going to talk about that on Saturday. I do have a lot of other stuff besides Madison County to cover tonight, and we are going to cover it. That being said, in the veil of talking about these things that are going to be to be continued, we will have a moment with Catherine here in just a moment where she's going to recount something that has happened today. And Kate's got us on a strict timer. We are 15 or 20 minutes, and that's tops 20 minutes, and everything goes dark. So I just want to let everybody know, I know, just chill. If it's Madison County's your jam, cool. If something else is your jam, cool. We're going to get back to it, but it's just all part of what goes on here. So, all right. first and foremost, I want to talk about something that has been going on that has been a big topic today, and I feel like we do need to address this. This is very important, and it is something that, in my opinion, this is something that everybody everywhere should be focusing on. So I do want to bring this up. So let me get this pulled up here. I want to be able to show you this. And what we're going to talk about is, so for those of you that were watching last night, towards the end of the show, producer Kate jumped on and said that she had heard that she got a notification stating that the Epstein files were going to be, some of the Epstein files were going to be dropped today. And it was like, ooh, that's a big deal. Now, instantly, if you recall, if you were watching last night, I said, wait a minute. The Epstein files, like, look, I want the Epstein files, but I want the Kennedy files, and I don't want the Epstein files to like cut us in line. Like, we're here waiting on the Kennedy files that, they said 45 days it was going to take or something like that. He signed it back on the 23rd of January, like 3 days into his term. And so I'm hearing that the Epstein files are going to be released, and I'm kind of like losing my mind. Okay. Because I'm thinking, like, wait a minute, like, are we skipping over, in my opinion, some of the most important things in American history, that, the JFK assassination? And look, I get it. I've heard a couple people say, well, listen, the JFK assassination is important, but no matter what happens, everybody's dead. Everybody's dead. With these Epstein files, like, there are people that are very much still around. So I'm like, okay. And now, listen, before we start, I do want to say this. Trump is not in the Epstein files, and I'm going to tell you why he's not. If Trump was in the Epstein files, and just think about this for just 1 second, just 1 second. Try to get out of the I hate everything Trump, I hate everything Republican, because this is not a thing about Republican Democrat, okay? That's not what this is. I'm just saying, for the people that are not big fans of Trump, just think for 1 second. If Trump were in the Epstein files, you don't think at some point over the course of the last 6 years, 8 years, that they would have somehow magically been leaked and been dropped? You don't believe that would have happened? There's no absolute way in hell that would have happened. Now, like I was talking to Kate last night, in New York, in the same circles, going to some dumbass play or highfalutin dinner, is there a picture here or there or whatever? Yeah, I'm sure. There's all kinds of people like that. You run in big circles. But what I'm saying is, you're not going to see. I just don't believe Trump might be a philanderer. Trump might be someone who has had a hard time keeping faithful to his wives and whatnot. But that's never been young victim-like women. Okay. That's just not ever been his bag. And so I just don't believe that he's going to be in these files. I believe if he would have been released, that would have been released, and they would have ran on him. Okay, now back to the actual thing that matters here. So last night we went off the show. I went and I watched the conversation with Jesse Waters and Pam Bondi, where she's like, yeah, we're going to be releasing the files. You know, they've been on my desk, and we're going to release these files tomorrow. And it's, you know, and everybody went crazy. Like, oh, okay, this is going to be great. Then we like literally, I've been waiting for these files since like 12:01 last night. And so what happened is a bunch of influencers, and that's what I would call them, you know, I guess alternative media, but more of the influencer-ish side, go to the White House and they get a book, and it's a binder, and this binder says like phase 1 of the Epsteine release, you know, just really, really strange. And what's even more bizarre is ahead of the actual release, there is a letter that is in the binder that all of these people get. And that letter reads as follows. Share it to you here. That letter, here it is on the screen. It says, from the Office of the Attorney General, Washington, D.C., Dear Director Patel, and this is from Pamela Bondi. Before you came into office, I requested the full and complete files related to Jeffrey Epstein. In response to this request, I received approximately 200 pages of documents, which consisted of primarily flight logs, Epstein's list of contacts, and a list of victims' names and phone numbers. I repeatedly questioned whether this was the full set of documents responsive to my request, and was repeatedly assured by the FBI that we had received the full set of documents. Late yesterday, and this was signed on the 27th, that's today, so late yesterday, Wednesday the 26th, I learned from a source that the FBI field office in New York was in possession of thousands of pages of documents related to the investigation and indictment of Epstein. Despite my repeated requests, the FBI never disclosed the existence of these files. When you and I spoke yesterday, you were just as surprised as I was to learn this new information. By 8 a.m. tomorrow, that's 8 a.m. Friday the 28th, the FBI will deliver the full and complete Epstein files to my office, including all records, documents, audio, video recordings, and materials related to Epstein and his clients, regardless of how such information was obtained. There will be no withholdings or limitations to my or your access. The Department of Justice will ensure that any public disclosure of these files will be done in a manner to protect the privacy of victims and in accordance with law, as I have done my entire career as a prosecutor. I am also directing you to conduct an immediate investigation into why my order to the FBI was not followed. You will deliver to me comprehensive reports of your findings and proposed personnel actions within 14 days. I appreciate your immediate attention to this important matter. I know that we are both committed to transparency for the American people, and I look forward to continuing to work with you to serve our president and our country. Now, listen to me, ladies and gentlemen. I have been in a position of investigative, working with investigative matters, working with sensitive matters in the state of Indiana. When you have sexual assault victims, when you have minors, they put it on green sheets of paper in the prosecutor's office so that you know in the file, hey, this is a file that is it's different from all other files. I have worked both in the prosecutor's office and as a law enforcement officer, a police officer, working both patrol, working sex crimes, working general investigations, and then narcotics investigations. I have dealt with all manners of investigations, and I've worked with people that I've liked. I've worked with people that I've not liked. I've worked with people that I've downright hated. Okay. I've understood what it happens when you have a changing of political parties and whatnot. And I understand liking or not liking Trump, and not liking Kash Patel, or liking and not liking Pam Bondi, or whatever. But the bottom line is, when the Attorney General asks an office of the FBI to supply the entire file to the Attorney General, there are no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I'm going to tell you, this thing that occurred today was a blunder, okay? It was a blunder for the Trump administration. This made Trump, this made Kash Patel, this made Pam Bondi, and everyone else, it made them look stupid. And I'm telling you, if some kind of serious action is not taken against the FBI in New York, then it will look bad for Trump. And I would bend more to Tweety Bird's side. Trump and Kash Patel. And listen, I don't care, hate him, don't like him, whatever. And this is not about me liking him or not liking him. This is just me saying, if this was Biden, let's remove these two. If this was Bush or Clinton, and they were asking, and their attorney generals were asking for files of something from their subordinates and not getting it, folks, I want to be very clear here. They're using words as like soft civil war. This is a serious issue when you have in this, there's no constitutional reason for the FBI office to not give the investigative files to Pam Bondi. You know, in the state of Indiana, if I had files, okay, if I had files as a police officer and I did not give those files to the prosecutor's office, my ass would be chewed. The chief of police would be on my case. The rank and file all the way down would be on my ass. The prosecutor would be on my ass. And look, it's not fun when you're called before the elected prosecutor, and that's what the Attorney General is. Okay, the Attorney General of the United States is the chief law enforcement officer in the United States. And when you are called before them on the carpet, it's not a fun time. Okay, so they need to really be taking a look at what's going on here. And this was a blunder. This is stupid. And here's what really pisses me off. This is what's really crazy to me about this. You get all of these other talking heads, Liz Wheeler from The Blaze. Okay, I cannot stand this woman. All right, I'm a Glenn Beck fan. I like a lot of people on The Blaze, but I cannot stand this woman. Beck. She was talking about this,
okay,
and I want you to listen just a few minutes of this real quick.
Okay, hey,
I'm going to fast forward
this binder, and she
Listen
said, the President of the United States, Donald Trump, has given me an order to declassify the Epstein files, and I have been quickly working on doing just that because we want to be the most transparent administration in history. We know that as of a week ago, she went on, I believe it was Fox News, and said that she had the Epstein files on her desk. And when I think it was Jesse Waters asked her, well, is there anything, have you found anything juicy yet? She said, not yet. So her message to me when she handed me this binder was, we expected to release bombshells. We expected to find the dark stuff, the dirty stuff,
Listen, and what they mean by the dirty stuff is what's the names, the people who have been there. Everybody's had the flight logs. Everybody's had his Rolodex. That's not new stuff. Who are the people that are going? Who are the people that have participated? Okay, so that's what she's talking about.
names of the people that were involved in what Epstein was doing. And when these files were put on my desk, and she was relating how she looked through them. She said, it wasn't what I was expecting. And I said, is this it? Is this is it? And she said, something is not right here. Now, just because she had that feeling, she still wanted to not only fulfill the president's order to release these, she wanted to do it in a timely manner. And so they prepared this binder. They were going to release what's in this binder, and I'll show you what's in it. It's also going to be available online here shortly, so that all of us can go through it. And we're going to talk about, too, how this has bypassed the legacy media and how this is...
All right, I don't care about
quite remarkable. The story here is this letter from Attorney General Pam Bondi.
And so Liz Wheeler is saying, don't be upset. Don't be mad that there's nothing in this. The story is there's nothing in it. That's the story we need to talk about. And the answer is, yeah, it is. Only if something comes of it. So, like, the clock is now ticking. They either need to get those files, and if those files exist, they need to be scanned through, and the victims need to be redacted, and then they need to drop it, or they need to tell us this was a screw up, we screwed up, this was stupid. Listen to what she says here. We're almost done with this.
A little bit of it to you. It says, Dear Director
Patel,
I'm not
going to... I read the letter to you.
Legacy Media, who right now are chagrined because they were not given an exclusive. Don't let the legacy media convince you that there's not a story here. The story here is incredibly important, that not only is the Trump administration trying to give you transparency, but that the deep state agents...
No, listen, yes and no. The story here is these files were held, but it's only a story if they then do something about it and get the files. If the files are held and then this just goes away and we're told, on Twitter, I put on Twitter, I was like, this is nuts to me, what they're saying here and what they're actually doing. So the Epstein files dropped today, but womp womp, it was a dud. But wait, now there are new Epstein files. That's right, you heard it here. Pam Bondi had a feeling that something wasn't right, and just like that, a source called her, and now we have a second run, and we're going to call it the Epstein Files Part 2. All right? And if we wait just a little bit longer, that will be the hot new news story next time. Next time, the juicy bits will drop. We promise. I just feel like, we've seen this show. They kick the can down the road, and this is a problem. So I'm waiting to see. It'll be interesting to see what happens. Everybody should be very upset here. And this is what she keeps saying throughout this little piece. She's like, yeah, you should be upset, but you shouldn't be too upset. No, I am extremely pissed off about this.
Are trying to hide it. Okay, so the only stunt here was what the SDNY pulled. So let's look in these files.
Now, this was a stunt because, listen, they didn't have to trump this up, no pun intended, as big as it was. They made it seem, Pam Bondi went on last night. So when Pam Bondi went on last night and said the Epstein files are going, because I was talking to Kate earlier, and I said, so I don't get it. When Pam Bondi went on Jesse Waters last night and said, we're going to be releasing the Epstein files tomorrow. When she says that, she knows what she's doing. She knows people think that means the big juicy stuff. They're going to drop the clients and the names and all of this. That's what people think when she says that. She didn't then qualify the statement by saying, hey, we're going to be dropping 200 pages of nothing. She didn't say that. She should have said that. Because I got to think, when Kate and I was talking earlier, I was like, well, why did they sell this that way? And Kate said to me, well, maybe the source didn't contact her until after she went on Jesse. Okay, that's fine. So she didn't find out about the thousands of documents until after Jesse, but she still knew the documents they were releasing were shit, were nothing, were stuff that we already know. So they just made this a great big stunt. And that's what I think the people, I don't want to see that out of this administration. We need to be beyond that. And so that's something that pisses me off. And I hope that they correct this. They have a chance to correct it. I do want to play this one point here at about 18 seconds because she gives a shout out to our very own Tony Kinnett from Indiana. Listen.
To hold this in your hand and know that this is the proof that they told Pam Bondi that this was it, and they were lying to her.
This is not proof that they
Trump, which means they're trying to subvert you. That's actually incredibly powerful. That's incredibly powerful to hold this in your hand and know that this is the proof that they told Pam Bondi that this was it, and they were lying to her. They were lying to her. So if your takeaway is that it's a photo shoot, like, you're missing the point, to the point that I encourage you not to miss the point. It feels like you can smell it. This is tangible.
Oh, listen to this. This is nuts
with these tweets. But if that's what your takeaway is from the story, then you're missing a real story. Then
there goes.
Okay, Tony Kinnett of the Daily Signal. I don't even know who that is, to be honest.
Tony Kinnett of the Daily Signal. He lives in Newcastle. He works. He's a radio host on WIBC. Like in the evenings, like 7 o'clock. He's on and listen. He says this to her.
With all due respect, says it was a fun photo shoot of conservative influencers holding a binder. If that's the takeaway from the story, then you are missing the story, and you're missing an incredibly important story. And I'm not interested.
Missing the story.
I'm not trying to pick a fight or argument or anything. I actually want to engage with these tweets. But if that's what your takeaway is from the story, then you're missing a really big story. A really big story. The really big story is this thousands of pieces of evidence that the SDN.
It won't be a big story until those drop. Liz, relax.
Why hid? Do you think? Let me ask you this question. Do you think that had that been a headline without this? Without the evidence, this is the thing. This is something.
This is crazy. Listen to what she says here. This is literally insane what she says.
You can feel. This is tangible. You can open this. You can feel what the paper feels like. You can smell it.
You can feel what the paper feels like. You can smell it. She's like trying to get you to believe that this is evidence. This is paper they pulled out of binders yesterday and ran through a copy yesterday afternoon to prepare for these weirdos. This isn't evidence. It doesn't smell. Well, what do you mean? It smells like ink and white paper? What are you talking about?
This is tangible, physical, concrete evidence that the deep state is lying to you and that it still exists.
No, it's not. What will be tangible proof of a lie is the moment you release those other 1,000 documents. Because until those are released, yeah, there might be a lie, but I don't know who's lying. So this was the first, in my opinion, the first major screw up. So there's that. Okay. The last thing I want to say, and then we'll bring the doctor on, we'll give her time. The big thing I want to say, and this is, let me get this freak off here. This is the big thing. This is breaking news. This is breaking news out of the city of Muncie. Over the last 2 years, we have been dealing with this crazy cheating scandal that's been coming up. They've been talking about all this, they're cheating, this, all this, and the state was looking into all of this and this. I have exclusive information this evening, and this is going to be one of those things that I can't provide to you at this juncture. The hard paper for you to smell and to see and to really think. But I'm telling you, take it to the bank or don't. Recently, there has been a training class put on for the men and women of the Muncie Fire Department. And the men and women that have attended that class, including the chief and the deputy chief. All right, so number 1 and number 2 of the department. Okay, the fact that they attended this class means things should have been done above board, right? And I just want to be really clear here. Okay, let me see this so I know what I'm saying here. All right, I'm going to read this to you. There was a CPR class that was conducted on February 5th, 6th, and 12th. And I don't know how many of you have ever taken a CPR class, but you understand that, number one, while you might have your instructors who joke around and make the class fun, it's not a light class, and you normally don't have too much chaos going on. It's a serious class you're taking. Okay. And you know that it's not just like 30 minutes. It's not an hour. It's a pretty intensive class. From the last time I took CPR, I think it was about a 4 or 5 hour class. It was a long ordeal. Okay. I want you to listen to this. There was a CPR class that was given, and the class was given apparently across a couple different dates because there are 3 different turns on the fire department. The class was given on February 5th, 6th, and 12th, and it was conducted, and the training hours for those CPR classes were falsified. All right? Listen to what I'm telling you. Those training classes with the chief and the assistant chief sitting in them, they were falsified. Okay? They're making them earn certifications through fraud or material deception, but by not meeting the requirements outlined in the AHA CPR instructors BLS provider requirements. On February 6th, the fire chief, Daniel Burford, and Deputy Chief Daniel Nines own attendance in taking part in the CPR certifications themselves, which is showing the department training records, which is shown in the department training records, that they were complicit with allowing this to take place. They had a moral and ethical responsibility to uphold the required training standards to earn the certifications properly, not to mention they supported the falsification of those records and the records on the other 2 days. On top of all of this, all training was conducted at the training center. Therefore, the training officer was complicit with the attempt to conduct fraud and material deception. Furthermore, what is to happen to Matt Reese, Dylan Altman, and Jacob Lassiter, whom are all under current probation for their current certifications? This additional attempt to earn CPR certifications through fraud and material deception is a violation of their probation. The AHA CPR research is a 1-to-6 instructor-student ratio. The chief's office supported a 1-to-37 person ratio by a training instructor who isn't even an actual instructor in a lot of the things. MFD currently is in a situation where MPD was several years ago. There is a culture of just continued problems there. And you know what I hate about this is the fire department is a damn good department. There are a lot of good men and women on the department that do a damn good job, that take their jobs seriously, that show up and that do the work, that train their butts off, that are really good, and that don't want to be involved with shit like this. But you continue to get this. And I'm going to tell you, this rolls uphill to Dan Ridenour. And so my question to Dan Ridenour right now is, what are you going to do about this? Dan Burford, what is going on with this? Chief Dan Nines, what is going on with this? This is a very serious thing. So God forbid anyone out there in Muncie needs CPR until they can actually get trained. This is a serious situation. A serious situation. So we're going to keep you posted on this. When I can get more, when I can get tangible, I messed the word up and now I'm not going to be able to say it. When I can get material we can touch, I'll Elmer Fudd it. When I can bring you the proof and put the proof in front of you, I will be able to do that. But I'm telling you, like everything else, you take my word for it or you don't. And one of two things will happen. You'll either believe it, we'll be right, and we'll break this big story, or you don't believe it, you say I'm wrong, and just when you come back and say I'm right at the end, it'll be no hard feelings. Just come on in and sit back down. But that's going on. That's a big problem, and they need to get this figured out. Muncie Fire Department is in a major mess right now, and they need to get the lid on this. Their slips are showing, and they need to get this sorted out. Okay, we're going to, when you can get the paper, you can see. Yes, tangible. Yeah, I don't know what I was trying to say. When you can get the paper that you can touch and smell, we'll have some. I knew I said it right, tangible, and it just didn't sound right in my head. Okay, Mayor of Muncie. Yes. All right, so we are now going to transition over for the either the shortest or longest 20 minutes in broadcast history. Ladies and gentlemen, the doc. Oh, now she's, oh, no, wait, hold on. Hold on. Give me a thumbs up when you're ready. She's got me muted. Is she ready now? Oh, okay, she's ready. All right.
I had the mute button on because...
No, you're fine. You were talking.
Okay, well, I was talking to you.
Oh.
But I didn't realize I had the mute button on.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I get it.
Okay. So, okay, listen. I want everybody, I know you guys let us come on here for Delaware County, so I appreciate all you Delaware County people. But I really want to share with you how corrupt government is. I want to show you how corrupt Kelly Hewer is, Russ Willis is. And if you think it's not happening in your county, it's happening in your county.
Yes.
I'm telling you right now. So we always bring things with receipts. So I want to bring up, if you could bring this document that I have up and start at the bottom. This is an email chain that went on. So go all the way to the bottom of it.
I can't control it. I don't know who's got control of this.
Who can control it? Kate, can you control it?
I don't know if you've got it or if Kate's got it. Oh.
I don't have control over it.
I normally can control things like this, but I can't control this one.
Okay, so
go all the way to the bottom
of it. Go all the way to the bottom of it. All the way down. All the way down.
It takes
Keep going down.
5 pages.
Okay. Okay. So now begin to scroll up. Now this is a message from the Vice PC over in Pipe Creek 4. Okay. She filled out.
And real quick, what we're talking about is we're talking about the reorganizational meeting for Saturday.
Right. So she was the elected PC in Pipe Creek 4. She filled out the document. Okay. This is Jennifer Turney. This is who she's got as her vice PC. She fills out the document. She does it in the time frame that
really quick. So let's set that, because I want to make sure people are aware of what we're talking about. So this woman won PC in the election, and if you're the PC, you get to pick your vice PC, and
you have
there's
30 days.
Period. You got 30 days.
Do so. Okay. On top of having 30 days to do so, you also have to have, that person has to live in that precinct.
Yes.
So understand that. So she does it right here, 514. Keep scrolling. Keep
up
scrolling.
Now.
So she turns out the paperwork, everything, keep going up. Okay. May 14th, 9:02, sent to the secretary at Indiana GOP, sent to Russ Willis. So everything's done correctly.
Okay, so she sent her stuff off. This was just this was like a week and a half after the election.
Right, within 30 days. So it's all there.
Mm-hmm.
So then we go, this is how dirty it is in Madison County. Even if you do the right thing, you get screwed.
Mm-hmm.
So we keep scrolling up. Again, here it is.
Okay, they've sent and said received, thank you.
Right?
So that's important. That's the receipts. This is like hardcore receipts.
Yes.
Received, thank you.
Right? So that's May 16th.
And look, that's Russ and Dina sent that. Or they were on there. They saw it. Yeah.
Right?
Now
Russ is claiming he never got these emails.
Oh my.
Okay. So, but it's received by the state. I don't know what more people want from us. So now what happened is, the reason why Russ was holding on to those PC sheets and wouldn't release it to us is because we could literally see what he had done, because we had to see. So it came to our attention that Russ had appointed Jim Abram in there. Jim Abram lives totally on the other part of the county. Okay?
Go up just a little bit so we can see the line, the subject line, and all that.
So when
the date and time.
when we realize
There,
this
stop.
is going on, right? We realize that, hey, wait a minute here. Russ has appointed somebody to Pipe Creek when we thought we were good, right?
Okay.
So what happens? On Wednesday, February 26th, it says, please see below from Jennifer Turney, right? The Secretary of State's in here. It says, I am writing to request that the state quickly review and act on the following. I understand that Mike Gaskell contacted the GOP on Tuesday, February 25th, 25, and he was able to get a similar issue resolved the same day. It is my understanding that what Madison County Chairman Russ Willis is claiming, that I did not properly appoint my vice PC committeeman. I am the precinct committeeman for Pipe Creek 4 in Madison County. As you can see by the attached email, I properly appointed my vice PC by emailing the signed form to both Chairman Willis at Rustina at AOL, the email listed on the Madison County GOP page link, as well as the state GOP secretary, May 14th of 2024. Based on Rule 313 of the Republican rules, Chairman Willis was required to notify me of the appointment of any vice PC appointment. I have never received notice of the appointment from Willis. A precinct committeeman list received in September 2024 lists Jim Abram as the vice for Pipe Creek 4. Abram does not live in my precinct. I am requesting that Jim Abram be removed as my vice PC as he was not properly appointed. Okay. So that was sent yesterday. Now look at the top, what they've done. This is from the Secretary of State, Jennifer.
Oh, and this is secretary, and this was today at 3:00. So
yes,
okay.
We have reviewed the appointment of Lynn Turney as your vice precinct committeeman, and the appointment made by Chairman Willis of Jim Abram to be the vice precinct committeeman for Pipe Creek 4 precinct. Upon review of the appointments and communication, the matter of which vice precinct committeeman appointment is valid will be determined by the Rules Committee of the Indiana Republican State Committee. Until a decision is made by the Rules Committee, the vice precinct committee office for Pipe Creek 4 precinct will be made vacant immediately.
Yes.
Now, here's the thing. They're not going to rule on this in time for the election. What Russ did is he sent out letters yesterday that were, well, maybe he sent them out Monday or Tuesday. They were received by what we can count 6 PCs that are in this situation. Okay. One of them is that we won't be able to argue that because he believed how Russ told him how to submit the information. And he's been a PC for over 60 years. He followed what Russ did, and Russ came in and said, you know, I don't think you're really supporting me anymore. So because you didn't do the paperwork now, which you've never done in these 60 years, I'm going to remove your wife, and she's not going to be the PC. Now, anybody who's been following along, anybody who's been following along all along, when Russ was up there about the finances, what did he say? Well, it's the way we've done it for 50 years.
Yeah.
Well, now all of a sudden he's not going to allow Greg to do it. And he's going to say, well, this is how crazy it is in Madison County, right?
Yes.
I want people to understand. So we have 4, or so then that takes us down to 5. We now have 4 that have been overturned by this. But here's the bottom line. It does penalize us in a way because that's 4 people we could have had vote for our team that won't be. Now we aren't going to give 4 votes to them, but I want you to see just how corrupt Madison County is and the lengths that Russ Willis will go to cheat, lie, steal, and do anything he possibly can in order to win these seats and secure them. Listen, at the end of the day, people, Russ is in trouble. His entire team is in trouble. Let me tell you something. I want everybody on this show to be watching. I have heard from numerous people over at the county building. Russ has been up there frantic all week. I've heard every day. Russ is up there running around. He's telling people they have to show up. It's so important they have to show up. He's gone crazy up at the courthouse. Now, I want everybody to know we've got people with cameras. We got people with recordings. We got all kinds of things going on there. Does everybody know? Now, I think it's illegal. I think it is. But you know how you're not supposed to be electioneering in the courthouse? Well, that's exactly what's going on in the courthouse this week. Russ is up there electioneering in the courthouse. You're not supposed to be doing that. So what this brings me, in conclusion, what this brings to me, the reason why they want open voting done in the courthouse all that time is because that's exactly what they're doing up at that courthouse that entire month before the election. They are electioneering. We all know, we've seen it on video. We've seen people take pictures at how, well, I'm just going to the bathroom. No, they're not going to the bathroom. They're running those hallways when they're full, shaking hands, introducing themselves to people. Electioneering, they are in violation. And now they're doing it right now. You're not allowed to be electioneering up at the courthouse on government time. You're not allowed to have election equipment or signs in county vehicles. This is illegal. This is what I'm telling you, people. The cabal must fall. There is no way around it. If it doesn't, we are doomed. At the end of the day, what I want people to understand is we only have to have 50% of the votes plus one.
Yes.
There are 224 altogether between PCs and vice PCs. We know that out of that 224, 4 are out. So now we're down to 220. Now, here's the thing. If 220 do not show up, say only 100 show up. If only 100 show up, we need 50 plus 1 to win. That's what we need. We need 50 plus 1 to win. There's so much more to tell you about what's going on in Madison County, but I wanted to bring this to your attention. You really all should start calling the State House and telling them that people like Jennifer Turney, her vice PC should be reinstated. You should tell them tomorrow. You should tell them it was in on time. This is not our fault. Russ Willis controls those documents. The fact that he doesn't have to make those online for all of us to be able to see, which he's supposed to, this is corruption, people. And I want you to understand the power is in the people. It's not with these elected officials. They don't have the power. We hold the majority. But if we allow this to take place, then it will continue to rule.
Oh, so absolutely.
This is what I wanted to share with you tonight. I have so many more things. Check out my Facebook page. I've been posting things all day.
Well, we're gonna be on tomorrow. I'm gonna give you an entire show. So everybody that hates it, normally we're off on Fridays. So if you don't want to hear it, don't tune in. But if you're interested in hearing what's going on, tune in tomorrow. I'm going to give Catherine the entire show before the Saturday vote, because really I'm following what's going on in Randolph County and Henry County and Jay County and Delaware County and all of that. I'm concerned, and we're going to follow it on Saturday the 1st, but there's not a battle in any of those areas. We all know how it's going to turn out. So Madison County we're concerned with, and Marion County we're concerned with. And Madison County, we have access to what's going on. So we're going to give her the entire show.
Yeah, my hope for Delaware County is that you're seeing what's happening in Madison County, and that you guys in Delaware County become empowered, and you all run for PC seats in 2028, I believe, is when that next thing is, a 4-year thing. That's what I'm hoping. This isn't just about Madison County. This is about educating the masses.
Oh, absolutely.
So that you can go educate people, and the people can take back the community. This is craziness.
Yeah.
But now you all get to see just how corrupt it is. People are asking, isn't there somebody who can hold Russ accountable? There absolutely is. Kyle Pierce can do it. We've got a Senator Gaskell can do it. We got all these people who can do it. But here's what becomes the problem. They're not sure who's going to win Saturday. So they don't want to pick this side. They don't want to pick that side because they want to stay this way. Because that way they can move to whichever way. Well, I'm sorry. I've chosen a side. And that side is the right side. It will never matter. If Rinker wins, if Ewer wins, I'm still going to call anybody out on their positions. If anybody thinks that like I've got Rinker's ear, I've got Ackerman's ear, I don't have anything.
Yeah.
All I have is Catherine trying to educate the people. That's all I have. There is nothing more than that. Do I support Rinker and Ackerman and their team? Absolutely, I do. But that's if they didn't do the right thing, I think they're fully aware. I would call them on their behavior too.
Right.
So that's kind of what I wanted to bring up. And the reason why I needed 15 minutes of tonight's time is to educate you guys. Hopefully you will go out and you'll call the State House tomorrow and say, this is just wrong. We should not be penalized for doing the right thing and waiting until, whenever they can get to it, because we've got so much going on in the county. That's not right. Russ abused his power. Kelly Hewer abused her power. Kelly is the vice chair. I don't know. They say Connie Gardner is the secretary. I don't know. Kyle's claiming he's not the secretary, but he's on the letterhead. I don't know.
We're going to talk about that tomorrow, because I've got stuff I'm still working on that from both Russ and Kyle.
Right?
But yeah,
listen, the deal.
To the people.
Those four people should be cross-referencing this VP list. So if Kelly Hewer is not doing the right thing now as the vice, she's never going to do the right thing as the chair.
Oh, yeah, no question.
So she's turning a blind eye.
I want everybody to think about this. I want you to think about this until we get on tomorrow. For those of you that don't know what we're talking about, I want you to think about this. For David and for Cindy and for Janet and for Kif 76 and Alva, whoever's here, Cheryl, all of the people. It don't matter if you're from Madison County or not. I want you to think about what I'm saying. Imagine that I tomorrow am going to start using your name and assigning your name as supporting something, or that saying that you endorse something that you either, one, have never supported or endorsed simply because you've just never done it, or two, maybe that you specifically do not support or endorse. Imagine in your mind how pissed you would be if somebody was using your name and saying, Cheryl McKinney, she supports, this, or Alva, he supports, X, Y, or Z. And if you didn't support it, or if you didn't endorse it, and if you hadn't okayed that, you would be mad. If somebody was using my name and saying that and making it look like I endorsed something that I clearly had not endorsed, or that I clearly someone that I didn't support, I would be flipping mad. I would be calling that person cussing. I would be suing somebody.
It's not just one time. It's 2 times. Now, it's 2 times that we know of, because Kyle said he came out in 2023, came out of that role.
Yeah.
Well, we went through a whole election in 2024. How many letters were sent out on letterhead that we, the people, don't know about?
Yeah.
So I have a real problem with this. It looks like it's a habitual thing, but you know what the greatest problem of it is that nobody holds Russ accountable. Nobody makes him stop. That's why this corruption has gotten as out of control of it as it is. And you know what, Kyle Pierce, if you're watching, shame on you for being mad at me for putting that out for the public to see. I don't know how I become the bad guy in any of this. I didn't use your name.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And if you have such a problem with it, maybe you should take it up with the person who keeps mailing it out. And if that person doesn't take care of it, maybe you should take it up with Kelly Hewer, who's his vice, or the secretary who's really responsible for the letterhead, and tell them to stop.
Well, I'm telling you, if somebody was using my name, I guarantee you I could get it stopped. So we'll talk about that. We're going to go into all of that and everything else. I do want to put this up on the screen here for Catherine, and I want people to see this. Where to go? Hold on here. This thing right here. No, you're fine. I just wanted to call Indiana Secretary of State's office. Anybody out there can do it. It would really be really important if you were from Madison County. But look, I can't help from where you're at. Call Indiana Secretary of State's office. You don't have to give them your name. Dial 317-232-3939. When you contact them, you can do any number of things. You can push through. You can tell them that you want to speak to Matt Kochivar, or tell them that you want to speak to Valerie Warchaw. They are the attorneys involved in there. But tell them that you want to speak out about a situation in Madison County. Tell them that you are not okay with how the chair of the Republican Party has handled the vice PCs in a couple places, and tell them that you're not okay with that, and speak out for it. And so, if you feel inclined to do that, there's the number 317-232-3939.
And I just want everybody to know, Karen Sue says they're saving the county money by recycling the letters. Let me be very clear with you. The Lincoln Club has over 30 grand in their bank account right now. I just want everybody to understand that. I have the financials. I know how much they have. It's 30 grand. So I appreciate your comment there so that I can, bring it up to everybody's attention. I will show you those financials tomorrow night.
Yes.
The other thing is there was one other comment on here that I just want to address real quick. PC election, I do not believe it is in 2027. So what happens with PCs, what people need to understand, the PCs will go in 2028. They will run in the primary. Okay. That's what they'll run in the primary.
Yeah.
And what happens is it's over with. It's over with in the primary.
Yeah.
Why? Because they're thinking that those primary results will go and help the people running against the opposite party, the Democrats, and they'll go out and work their precincts so their party will win. So it actually will go in 2028 and not in 2027.
Yeah,
just
2027 is a municipal. That's only the municipal.
Yeah. So I just kind of want to let you know that it's a lot to wrap your heads around, but I wanted to clarify that. Anyways, that's my few minutes of fame for tonight. I hope that people stay engaged. I hope that we all continue to educate one another, but most importantly, I know we're going to bring home a win, and that's what is the greatest win. It's great to see that the state finally sees how corrupt Russ Willis is, and that the public gets to see that. It is wrong that he is electioneering in the county. Now you know how they're manipulating more and more votes in Madison County by allowing the early voting to take place in the courthouse. And I've said this over and over and over. Why don't we have open voting at the libraries?
Yeah,
that would make more sense to me to have him at the libraries. But no, the reason why he wants a stronghold at the county building is so he can electioneer and nobody can question it. And they've all gone along with it for years. We got problems in Madison County. No matter what happens, we are not going to stand down.
Yes.
So thanks for letting us come on tonight. And
very good. We'll be on tomorrow. We'll see you tomorrow.
It.
We'll have her on for the whole night tomorrow, and we'll get into everything hot and dirty. And as long as everybody wants to listen, we'll talk about it all, and that'll be fantastic.
And I just want you to know, Chris, that comment Russ is talking about to people that he thinks it's 80-20.
Well, this is why it was. That's what he was doing.
Right. Let me tell you something. Russ, you're in trouble.
Yeah, I think he is. I think that this got found out. Oh, the last thing I want to say, anybody else that got a letter, or if Russ is, I want to put this out there. If Russ has personally talked to somebody and told somebody like, hey, you can't come or whatever, if you've got any kind of weirdness, don't just go with that. Go to the meeting, show up to the meeting, be there, make them kick you out at the door. Don't let them just run you off. Don't think that it's not important. Remember, listen, I don't care what anyone else telling you. Show up there at 9:00. Wait in the parking lot for a half hour or whatever, how long it takes.
Oh, no, it's going to be busy.
Yeah, show up there early, be there at 9, and make sure that your license is square. Go there. If your license is screwed up, go to the BMV tomorrow, and you got to fix it. You got to fix that shit tomorrow, because you got to go there with a valid ID.
Russ is going to try to slide people in that the state has removed and say, well, this is what the slip says, because not everybody's involved with all the state communication. I'm going to post names. Like, I want people to understand. I want you to be at Chesterfield outside. If you see those people showing up, I want you to say something.
Yeah.
Right. I want you to be involved. Russ is going to, we are far from out of the woods. Russ is going to pull more tricks. He's going to do more things. And like Russ has been telling everybody, we are killing him on social media.
Yeah.
And what you know we're what? Try to do, the only way through.
What I'm going to try to do, I've not talked to Kate yet, but I'm going to try to see if Kate can man the duck on Saturday about 9-ish, 9:30. Are you available in the morning?
Yeah.
10. And if that's possible, not you, Kate. because I'm going to try to go to Mill Creek with Catherine and go live there from the thing. So then we'll do a show that night and recount we will celebrate or commiserate, one or the other.
Right.
And I think it'll be good.
Right. But one thing's for sure. We have shown the cheating. We have shown the ways. We have shown the manipulation. Now we know.
We know it. We'll
And
see you
that's a
tomorrow.
win.
Thank you very much. We'll be on. We'll expose it all night long. 24-hour show.
Yep.
Want to do it?
Hey, I'm in. I'm in. Listen, people. When Rinker wins,
Yeah,
I got a big surprise for all of you.
Oh, it's going to be amazing.
It's going to be amazing.
All right. Rock and roll, Catherine. Thank you very much. Good night, ma'am.
I see you. All
right, ladies and gentlemen. I don't think that was exactly 20 minutes, but it's a Catherine 20. You know what I mean? She's still down there. She sees me. All right. She's flipping me off now. Okay. From there, I do want to focus on this just for 1 second, because I want to make sure that, where are we going from here? I'm going to try to see which way we're going. What would be the easy? Oh, we're going to do this. Okay. We'll do this. We'll do this. Very important information. This was released today at about 3:30. Man, I'm telling you what, today was a big day. I've been sitting here just counting the minutes since last night, waiting to see all these Epsteine files. Like, damn, if you're gonna overjump the JFK files, then by God, it better be good. And then it turns out to be such a dud, such a turd, and I was just so disappointed. And then all hell broke out. All this stuff's going on. Catherine's calling, saying she needs to be on the show. We've got like 3 hours worth of show for outside of Madison County I can do. I'm like, dude, I can't shove all this shit into one show. Okay, so this is very, very, very important. This is a big win for citizens in a specific neighborhood, but also I'm going to say really good things about Dan Ridenour right now. And this does not happen a lot. It does not happen all the time. Really, honestly, it doesn't happen much at all ever. So I want you guys to be aware. Today, at about 3:30, I received a press release from the city of Muncie, and I wrote up a little write-up on Facebook, and it goes like this. Breaking news out of Muncie, Indiana. The city of Muncie withdraws Ordinance 29-24, a proposed annexation of portions of the Farmington neighborhood from further consideration. Did you hear that? Let me say it again. The city of Muncie withdraws, it means it pulls back, Ordinance 29-24, which is a proposed annexation of portions of the Farmington neighborhood from further consideration. This afternoon, Thursday, February 27th, 2025, Muncie Communications Director Amber Green released a statement from Muncie Mayor Dan Ridenour, referencing his decision to stop the push to annex portions of the Farmington neighborhood on the city's northwest side. As a result of many citizens from the Farmington neighborhood pushing back against the proposed annexation, Mayor Ridenour requested that the ordinance's sponsoring city councilor, Jeff Green, Republican from District 1, he's asked him to withdraw the ordinance. Councilor Green has agreed to do just that during the upcoming Monday, March 3rd, 2025 city council meeting. Let me see here real quick. Mayor Ridenour said, sometimes when you're trying to date someone and, on those first few dates, you just realize that it's not really lining up and it doesn't really align with, what you think of as a partner or whatever. You just realize that it's not working out and you kind of take the hint. It's clear that the residents of Farmington have concerns, and we, this is Ridenour's words, we as the city respect that. After listening to the concerns of the residents, the administration decided it would be in the best interest of the community to step back and reevaluate the city's approach. While Ordinance 2924 will be withdrawn, the city has successfully annexed 3 other properties, which include 12 acres directly east of Farmington, a parcel at the intersection of Morrison and Bethel, and Westminster Village, which have all been pieces of land that have been completely voluntarily done. They wanted to be done, and everyone was in agreement. Those annexations were all separate from Ordinance 2924. They were based around it like 27, 26, 28, whatever, but they were all around it. There's also another ordinance also dealing with annexation, Ordinance 3024. Ordinance 30-24 is also a proposal to annex a portion of the Heron Point neighborhood, also on the city's northwest side. The residents in Heron Point have shown a considerable acceptance for the process, and the annexation is going ahead as planned. Mayor Ridenour added, "Our goal is to ensure that all of Muncie's neighborhoods thrive and grow together, but we must do so with the support and understanding of those who will be directly affected. We are committed to being responsive to the needs of the residents and will continue to engage with the community as we move forward." I want to say this, and I mean this from the absolute bottom of my heart. This is a win for everybody involved with this. This is how you govern, and I applaud Ridenour's efforts to fully communicate by listening and talking to all involved, and in the end, choosing to go a different direction from what he originally had planned is a big deal. Ridenour is not good at that. Let's be honest. He is not good at that. He does not do well with going the opposite direction. So, yeah, that's the only credit he gets. There you go. No, I mean, listen, I you know, if he would have done things like this with Southway Plaza, if he would have done things like this with the crisis center, I just cannot begin to imagine how much different things would be. If he would have approached his willingness or moreover, his unwillingness to communicate, his willingness or unwillingness to fully understand transparency, things could be much different. But this is the way it goes. So, number one, I want to say congratulations to the citizens of that neighborhood. And look, it's not like we don't know those people and they're just gone forever. They're citizens of Delaware County. They're our neighbors. They're our friends. They're, you know, whatever. So good on them. Good for the county. It's good for the county. It's good for the citizens. It's good for Muncie. You know, everything is good here. The folks in the area that was annexed in, that's good. Heron Point's going to be annexed in and gets, you know, Muncie services, and that's good. The village of Westminster Village gets the services, and that's good. You know, I do hope that none of the people out at Westminster Village need CPR from the fire department over the next little bit. But that's a whole nother story. You know, we'll have to get more into later. But so yeah, this is cool. I'm happy that this happened. I'm happy that this happened with Dan in this situation, because normally he just doesn't do this. So that's never a bad thing. Okay. Also, I do want to cover just briefly. We covered this the other night, but I feel like it's important enough for me to cover again because just that night was really, really, really crazy. And I want to say that there's a lot of movement occurring with what's going on with Senate Bill 1, with what's happening at the state. and everything that's going on there. So I do, I do want to just talk just briefly about this. So the other day, it was Tuesday, the Delaware County Council, which I want to remind you, the council is a 7-person body. So 7 people on the council. All 7 of them are Republican. And of those 7 people, man, I would say 3 or 4 of them would either consider themselves or believe themselves to be what I would consider conservative Republicans. And the other 2, 3-ish or 4 of them would maybe be moderate Republicans. But they're all Republicans. None of them are Democrats. One of them was missing. One of them had the flu and was absent. That was Jessica Piper. So 6 counselors were there, and 6 counselors voted. They all voted 6-0 to pass Delaware County Resolution 2025-04, a resolution opposing Senate Bill 1. And we talked to Ryan about this, and there's been a lot of thought. Rob Kendall and Casey Daniels announced today on the Kendall and Casey show that there is going to be a big rally down at the State House on Monday, March 17th. On Monday, March 17th, they're going to have a big rally down at the State House. It's going to start at like 8:30, 9 o'clock in the morning, and it's going to run into the afternoon. They're wanting to pack the State House. They're wanting to have 1,000 or more people there. They have went through the proper procedures of getting what they need to have a function there. So they want to pack the house, and I know we've taken different opinions on a lot of things here recently with Rob and Casey, but I am okay with what they're doing here, and it's kind of a good marketing. It's St. Patrick's Day, so most people will be wearing green, and they're asking people, kind of as a play on the red for teachers, red for ed. They're asking the people to definitely come in wearing green, and that's going to be the rally of, we want you to stop taking our green money and screwing us over, and we want to be able to keep our green money. So they're asking people obviously in honor of the holiday, wearing green and all that, come down to the State House. I am going to go down there and partake in this and see what goes on, and maybe do some reporting from down there live on location. So that will be Monday, March 17th. It's going to be hopefully a nice, beautiful day. We're going to be getting into spring, and so hopefully the weather will work, and we'll have a good day, and we can send a very loud message. But that doesn't really do us a damn bit of good here at home when we have our own Republicans here at the House, here at home that are fighting against us. And again, like the other night, I was just saying, will the real Republicans, real conservative Republicans, please stand up? This is a situation that is going to be ongoing. We need to find out. Like, I'm really concerned with where the commissioners are. I know that Matt Kantz and Brand are really close. Does Brand believe this way? Does that mean that Brand is now going against, the governor and Micah Beckwith? I thought that, it's just really weird, and politics always makes really strange bedfellows, and here we are again. So I'm going to be looking into this, and like everything else we've talked about, the Epstein files to be continued, the Muncie fire department cheating scandal to be continued, the Catherine's deal in Madison County to be continued. The annexation, well, they're amending it, but they got to do it on Monday, the March 3rd, and then there's another ordinance out there, so that's to be continued. And then this again is another situation that will be to be continued. Where did all the so-called surplus that the state said they had go? You want me to tell you where it went? You want me to tell you where it went, Carrie? It went right nowhere. It's still sitting there in the bank, just piling up and piling it up and piling up and piling up, because whatever rainy day they're planning on us having, it apparently is going to be really rainy. Really, 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 really rainy. I'm going to tell you. You know, it's kind of like I was talking. I don't know who I was talking to the other night about this. I don't know if I was talking to Amber or I don't know. So I recently went shooting, and it's always weird to me when I go shooting, because I'm one of those guys that I like to collect guns. I just, Don loves selling guns. I just love to sell guns, and I'm the exact opposite. I just love to buy guns. I just love to collect guns. You can't ever have enough. You always need 10 more. But the other thing, and a lot of people, I always make the joke that I always know a bunch of people that have, they've got 15 ARs, and they've got a couple that, they've got every Glock imagined in a stock, and then in a tricked out Gucci Glocks. They've got Beretta's whole lineup, and they've got just, all these guns. And then I'm like, okay, but what are you doing for ammo? And they're like, oh, well, I've got one box of ammo. I've got a box of 9mm. And I'm like, dude, I do need to get over there more often. They're like, I'm like, dude, that's not going to cut it. Like me, I want to have 5,000 rounds per every gun I own. And if I don't get that, hey, David, I am going to tell you, I think I'm going to go through the process of trying to apply for a couple of federal stamps or whatever. So I think I've been thinking about this. I watched this video on going through the process, and I think I'm going to hire Guy Relford to help me go through that process, so I can have Niles order me like a fully auto something. But it would be my honor. Hey, no, Kash Patel's the director of the ATF now. That shit ain't going to be happening anymore. So we've made it to the promised land. No, but it's really strange, because I don't like shooting ammo, even though like you gotta burn through it and collect new. But it's like where I was like, where am I going with this? It's what's going on at the State House with this rainy day fund, with all this surplus money. They just keep on stacking it. They never just, they're going to stack it. And so it's like, we don't need it. They don't think we need it. We don't need our own money. They need it, and they need to put it in the bank and hide it away and just let it continue making money and stacking money higher and higher and higher and higher. And they don't care about you and me and us and we and whatever. So we have to take it back ourselves. So to be continued on this situation, there's going to be a big story with what goes on at the State House on March 17th, obviously. It's going to be interesting to see what the Indiana House of Representatives do with Senate Bill 1. Now, when they get it, they start going back to work next week. So it's going to be interesting to see what the hell they do. I have heard that Scott Alexander, our senator here in the area, at least he believes that the State House are going to throw some of the things back in it that the Senate took out. Braun keeps talking about the fact that he's willing to veto the bill. I don't know what's going to happen. It's going to be interesting. So I'm hearing that the IGA, they are not wanting to be called back for a special summer session. So they're willing to do whatever they got to do to make that not happen. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens here. I don't know. So that's that. Okay, now moving on from there, I do feel like we need to talk about the treasurer's office. Alva said treasurer's office today. And so here's what I did. I had a lot of stuff going on, and I was planning my attack and was going to go up there. And I've got some people that I know in the treasurer's office. So I made a phone call, and I found out that Polk wasn't in the office. And I don't want to go up and bother the girls. The girls, you know, I appreciate all of them. They're great people, and they're very helpful. But Polk is the elected official. This to me has gone on between like just dealing with like the help. Like I need to talk to the, you know, citizen to official, you know, boss to employee type of thing. And so I found out that Polk wasn't there. But here's what I did find out. While talking to an unnamed employee on the phone, I kind of told the employee what I was looking for. And that employee, I'll say this, that employee made it sound very doable, what I wanted. Okay. Yeah. Yes, Stumblefoot. And so I found out that Polk wasn't going to be in there today. But the person I talked to on the phone, and I say it that way because, you know, I don't want to out who I was actually talking to. That person made it sound like, yeah, what you're requesting, like they clearly knew like what I was wanting and how, you know, what about it? And she's like, well, I need to fill out a paper. I said, okay, no big deal. So I filled out a paper and I sent the paper back to the lady that I spoke to. Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. It was very, very, very easy. And I did this. I sent that request back. I sent the request to the lady that I spoke to. I sent it to her at 1:49. And I was like, okay. You know, no big deal. Like maybe she'll get it back to me today. Maybe she won't. I don't know. Well, at 3:00, I received an email from Bradley Polk. And Bradley Polk's email reads as follows. Mr. Bilbrey, I was forwarded your request. I will forward it to the county attorney's office for their review, and we will be in touch with you. And I was like, okay. So it's that kind of game we're playing then. That's what we're going to be doing. So I was like, okay, we'll see what goes on here. So that was at 3:05 that Polk sent that to me. So then I sent back to Polk. I didn't get it right at 3:05. I got it like at 3:48. And I immediately sent back to Polk at 3:49. Fantastic. That said, once they tell you this is a public document, which it absolutely is, you'll have no trouble in providing it, correct? Like I'm trying to like will it out there and make this start happening. You know what I mean? So I put that out there to him. Well, he doesn't send me back anything. I don't get anything back from him. At 4:01, I receive an email from John Brook. And Mr. Brook says, Mr. Bilbrey, your public record request to the county treasurer has been sent to this office for acknowledgement and response. Your request was for a copy of a canceled check that was paid to Brook and Struble PC in response to an invoice in November of 2024. In response to your request, the treasurer does not have any documents that are responsive to your request. The treasurer does not maintain copies or received copies of canceled checks for payment of this claim. Thank you for your request for public records. This request is now canceled. That dumb maple syrup eating man. He thinks we're done. I feel like all these people, I just want to tell him, I just want to be like, you know what? My Uncle John should have beat your ass in high school years ago. I don't know why he didn't, but you were probably owed an ass beating in high school. And it's just sad to me that John didn't do that. Anyways, snapping out of it. So I thought about this for a little bit. And, you know, I'm really out of luck because Luke Britt's nobody anymore. Listen, I tried calling his office today and the freaking numbers disconnected. Like, I think it like shriveled up and went away. I don't understand what's going on. Like Chris Cundiff and all of them, I think they're all just gone. I think they're going to appoint somebody, and that new person will staff their office or something. I don't understand. It's really wild. So I was like, what am I going to do? So then I started going down through my phone. I was looking in my phone and I realized, wait a minute. I forgot this. Back in 2019, I interviewed Bradley Polk when he was running for re-election to the city council, and I have his cell phone number. Yeah, right, David Williams? Like, so stupid, man. They're saying they don't keep record of what goes on. They don't have any way of, they don't have any ledgers. They don't know when they just write checks and maybe they'll bounce, maybe they won't. They don't know. They don't know what goes on. They hope everything works out. They don't have any way of keeping ledgers. They have nothing from the banks up in county government, which I know full well is absolute horse shit. I've received checks exactly like I'm requesting from counties all over Indiana. I'm pretty sure from the Delaware County's office in Delaware County before, and from the city of Muncie all the time. So I called Brad Polk on the phone. Ring, 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 ring. And he, of course, doesn't answer because it either says Bilbrey in his phone or it wasn't a number he knew, so he wasn't going to get it. You know, whatever. Whatever. So I leave a message and I say, hey. It's you know who. And, you know, I think that you're getting wrapped up in something that you don't need to be wrapped up in. And so I talked to him a little bit. I'm like, hey, you know, you should really call me so we can work this out, because this is the problem here is what I'm trying to request has nothing to do with you or your office or anything to do. It's specifically about John Brook. And it's funny that John Brook is the one that's telling me all of this. John's trying to cover his ass. And I don't want him, you know, I went back to my old copping days. Kind of one of these things, you know, like, I don't want you to get wrapped up in something that your buddy over here is trying to put you on, you know? So if you're on some bullshit, you need to let me know so we can help you out. You know? And I'm like, just call me back. Okay, so then he sends me a text message. And this text message says, I'm going to drill down deeper tomorrow and we'll call you tomorrow. I will not be using this number to take work calls, as it's my personal phone that I do not use for county business, as they do not pay for me to have cell phone. Thanks, Chris. I will call you back tomorrow. To which I respond, okay. A lot of O's. Well, before you get their bullshit side of it all, I would appreciate it if you'd call me and listen to what I've got to say, why I want this, what it is. Maybe you can help me find out another way around getting what I need. I also believe that you make enough to probably be able to pay for when I call or anyone else, since you are an elected official. But whatever. Give me a call tomorrow, and I would appreciate it if you called me before you called them. So he didn't respond. We'll see if he calls me. I don't know what'll happen, but I guess I'll just, because I'm gonna go in. We're gonna see each other face to face, because it's always better to deal with Polk in person. Because on the phone, through text message, through email, he can be big and bad. Eye to eye, person to person, it's that Teen Wolf dad thing where you make him piss himself. So I like Polk. I shouldn't talk badly about him. He's an okay guy. I just, he's in a situation because like the county attorney's being like, no, it's closed. And I'm like, no, listen. So I'm going to take him the check that I've got from other places and show him and be like, look, this is ridiculous. You need to, if there's a way that you can help me here, let's just get this done. So again, to be continued, because that's going on. But I'm telling you, if they make me, Kate and I were talking about this today, if they make me file a complaint with a public access counselor that's non-existent, and I got to wait and do all of that, if we got to go through this and it turns out in my favor, I will sue them for this. I will sue them for this. This is a hill that I will die on. So just FYI. That's that. Okay. We've got one more topic that we need to get through tonight, and it's pretty brief. Donuts and gas stations. So I don't know if everybody remembers or not, back during a council meeting when Rose Selvey kind of come unglued and attacked, at least it felt like she attacked Andrew Dale in a meeting. Remember that? Does you remember that, Kate? Well, none of us knew what was happening. How long has he been in the position? Or do you mean Polk, the treasurer? He's only been in the position for technically 4 years, or well, like 3 years maybe. 2 years as caucused in, and then he ran, and now he's been like 1 year in. He's like starting his like third year or something like that now. Not long, because before that he was a sitting city councilor, and then he left city council for county government. If you're talking about the John Brook, the attorney, he's been an attorney forever. He's been the county attorney forever. Before he was county attorney, he was county commissioner. He's been county council, county commissioner. He's been everything in there. He's a dirty. So he knows how to play the dirty. Okay. So, who substitute when the public access counselor is not there? Well, in the past, when Luke Britt's been on vacation or whatever, sick, he had staff that Chris Cundiff and a woman named Emily. But when you call there today, it went beep, beep, beep. This Verizon number, it cannot be dialed at, whatever. And I was like, what? And bizarrely, Amber, in her job as a communications director, called me and asked me for Luke's number. And I was like, well, first of all, he's not there anymore. She's like, yeah, but I want to talk to somebody in the office. And I gave it to her, and she couldn't get a hold of it. She said, yeah, it's disconnected. So that's two different people, a couple different ways. It was just real weird. I don't know what they're doing there, but I don't like it. I sleep better when there's a public access counselor in the chair. So that's that. It's very, very strange. No, you're fine. You're fine, Karen. So okay. Anyways, back to donuts and gas stations. So we found out after Roe went on that rampage against Andrew Dale that the reason she was so mad was because a lot of people, I don't know if you know this or don't know this, but Roe Selby is a city councilor. She's an at-large city councilor. In her day job, she's an English teacher at the high. She's not an English teacher. That's hilarious. I don't know. She's some kind of teacher. That would be funny if she was an English teacher, right? No, she's not an English teacher. I don't know what she is. Maybe a math teacher or something. I don't know. But so she was doing the whole math thing or whatever. But as her day job, she's a teacher at Central High School. And she heard that the Muncie Redevelopment Commission was thinking about buying the property that is Concannon's old donut place there on the corner of Columbus and Walnut. And she was mad that they didn't buy it, because since they didn't buy it, she has heard through the grapevine that somebody wants to buy it and turn it into a Quickie Mart gas station type of a deal. And she was like, that's not good. Those places sell vapes. Those places sell alcohol. You don't think that we're going to be having kids sneaking over there and stealing vapes and buying cigarettes and buying alcohol and lying about their age and getting underage this and that. And, you're going to have a bank or a gas station robbery, and it's going to be so she was mad about that. She does not want the gas station there. She's all for economic development. She's all for businesses coming to Muncie. Put your gas station anywhere. Don't put it there. And listen, there's a lot of people who are supportive of what Roe is saying and doing. Like it's the only place in town that sells smoke. No, and here's the thing. It's not. It's just the only place right next, like inside the school's parking lot, basically, that sells it. And if I'm not mistaken, I think there used to be, if there's not still, a rule about how far away from a school you could actually sell. And I don't know if I'm true. I don't know if that's true or not. Maybe it's not. But I'm just going off that. And so, look, I get it. With what they're wanting to do with that area, to me, it doesn't make sense putting a gas station right where that just seems kind of like tacky. I don't know. But listen, two consenting adults selling and buying property, as long as it's within the law, can do what they want to do, I'm fine with it. Whatever. Well, so the gas station people, 200 feet from what? From the building, from the property, from the parking lot, because it's within 200 feet, no question. School wall. Okay, it's probably not 200 feet from there. I remember when they tried to build a McDonald's across from Southside. That's wild. Yeah. Yeah. So, okay. Well, all right. So getting back now to the thing, the place, the people that want to put in the gas station, they have filed for an application for the Muncie City, Delaware County, City of Muncie Metropolitan Board of Zoning Appeals And there was a meeting tonight. There was a Delaware County City of Muncie Metropolitan Board of Zoning Appeals meeting this evening. Apparently this evening at 6 p.m. And I'm pretty certain those meetings don't get live streamed. However, they are going to be here in the very near future. I think they said that they are going to be working on getting live streamed by May, which would be 2 months early, so that's good. But it wasn't live streamed tonight. And so the board is made up of 7 members, and those members are Leslie Mathewson, Matt Billington, Ellen Brannon, Dustin Clark, Delaney Fritsch, which was a follower of Dustin Clark's, Sue Kaiser, and Christy Knapp. Oh, Christy Knapp. Okay. And so that's that board. And so they were going to, I need to fix this real quick here. Hold on. Okay, there we go. So they were going to have a meeting tonight, and they had 2 things before them. They had BZA number 06-25, which was a public hearing on a matter of an application filed by 2 people for requesting a variance from the terms of Delaware County Comprehensive Zoning Ordinance to allow a 10-foot tall sign partially located in the proposed right-of-way advertising a business not located on the property in a farm zone on premises located at 101 South County Road 700 East, Liberty Township, Delaware County, Indiana. So they heard that, and I don't know what came of that. I don't care. It is what it is. I have no clue. That's not what we're talking about. The second item on the agenda was the item that most citizens in Muncie were interested in, and that second item was BZ 07-25, and that is a public hearing on the matter of an application filed by Michael Concannon and Sanjah SANJH 11 LLC, 821 Shilling Drive, Crown Point, Indiana, requesting variances from the terms of the City of Muncie Comprehensive Zoning Ordinance to allow decreased parking, decreased greenbelt width and plantings, decreased buffer area and landscape plantings, decreased canopy front setback along Walnut Street, and for the loading area to face Columbus Avenue and to be partially in the right-of-way for all the redevelopment of a commercial site for the new gas station and convenience store on the premises located at 620 North Walnut Street, Muncie, Indiana, as more accurately described in the application. To put it simply, BZA 7-25 deals with the possibility of a convenience store or gas station going in across from Central High School, the Concannon's property. This project has been very controversial with lots of input from many different citizens and city officials. And there is one specific Muncie citizen, Rebecca Hanna. And Rebecca Hanna recently looked a bit deeper into all of this and made an interesting Facebook page along with some pictures that can be found at the following page, which I'll take you to the page here in a second. The controversy over this project will only continue to grow, and we will, of course, cover it right here. And so that's what was going on and blah, blah, blah. Okay, now I want to take you to this page, and I want you guys to see this. This is from a Muncie citizen. This is not my work. And so I'm just putting this out there. This is interesting. It's definitely worth a look. And let's just take a look at this just briefly. This is Rebecca Hanna. Hi, Muncie friends. There have been quiet discussions about Concannons on Walnut across from Central being turned into a gas station. I took some time last night and researched the proposed developers on other LLCs and did Google Street views of their properties. They are all recent street views. This is most likely what we can expect on this corner. The developer has requested a variance to get out of complying with the corridor standards. If you have a problem lowering the zoning standards to make a gas station development conducive for this developer, come to the zoning meeting tonight. The meeting is at 6 o'clock on the 3rd floor of the county building. And then Hannah shared the following. And the guy's name here, I guess, is Armpit Car. And so Armpit Car is Sanja H3579 Edge Tobacco Shop, Armpit Car. Okay. And they've got all these addresses in Portage, Michigan City, Chesterton, Michigan City, Evansville, yada, yada, yada. Okay. So there's that. All right. Now, here is one of the properties. And Miss Hannah points out this is in Michigan City, a typical gas station with landscaping that is not maintained. And she points out to the, the barriers here that have weeds and stuff grown up in this rock garden thing out here, whatever that crap is. I mean, look, nobody likes a gas station. It's just, it is what it is. It's not an art installation. So like, I get it. Look, vape disposables she's pointed to here. Vape disposables. Typical gas station with landscaping that is not maintained. Notice their advertised product is vapes. We've got some greenery growing up here. Okay, this is Michigan City. Typical gas station with weeds and broken asphalt and various cars just parked here. And here's a gas pump. And I'm sure there's condoms on the wall in one of the bathrooms. I mean, like, it is what it is. Here's this, a typical gas station with a landscape that is not maintained. And here's this shed with holes in the roof and dumpster behind the gas station. Here is trash on the backside of the gas station property. This property is owned by the gas station. I'm sure, like, a deer and some homeless people live back here sometimes. Here's some nice trees. Trash on the line of these nice trees in the parking lot. Typical mediocre convenience store. Munchie's Smoke Shop. I could just imagine Jay and Silent Bob outside here, honestly. And so that's where we come back to. So she did a good job. I mean, I'm not dogging her. I just think it's funny. She did a great job. She did a really good job. I've asked her to call me, and she did call me. She did call me today, but I was on a phone call, so I missed her, but I'm going to try to talk to her tomorrow. At this meeting tonight, they found, I had a source that was at this meeting, and they found that none of these people involved have ever talked to anybody from the neighborhood, from the neighborhood association. Nobody knew this was coming. So we see this one thing where Ridenhour does a really good job, and then that just is like juxtaposition to this other situation where Ridenhour completely turded it up. A turd. Like a real life turd. He didn't go and talk to anybody. He was like just so quick about getting it in. Let's just get it in. That he didn't think that anybody in the neighborhood might care to talk to any of these people. So they literally tabled this, put this on hold so that all the sides could go away and have a conversation for a month. And so now this will be back on the agenda on the 27th of March. And I will be there for that meeting because we'll need to hear what's going to happen. But I know there's a lot of people against this. And I hope they speak up. But they're going to have to be really loud because I think this is going in. I think the people that don't want this to go in, they need to get really vocal. And I'm not saying do anything crazy or illegal. Be within the law. You just got to get vocal. There's got to be lots of you, and you've got to get vocal. So, obviously, that's a to be continued because we really don't know until they have the conversations, and we'll see what goes on. But there we are. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's it. We covered a lot of crap, and we even had Catherine on for like longer than the time. We covered a lot of to be continued. So, listen, I want to thank you all for being around. Please do us a favor, like the show if you can. That would be fantastic. That would really help us out, help spread the word, and do all that stuff. You know, we would really appreciate it if you did it. And listen, thank you all for listening. What you want to hear and what you want to listen to matters to me. And I don't want to ever burn you out with one thing over the next or whatever. But sometimes it is what it is. We've got to take something to a natural conclusion. And we don't get to the natural conclusion of the Madison County stuff until Saturday. So we gotta get through it. I know. Listen, I love Catherine. Catherine's great, but she is always at 100. You know, there's no like off switch. I'm trying. She's kind of like Josh in that sense. Like I try to mold her into my shape, but like, look, only I can be my shape. She can't be my shape. She'd have to eat a lot more food to be my shape, and I don't think she's going to do that. Plus, she's Chinese and stuff. So I always say that. I think she's really Japanese, but I call her Chinese just to get her to flip me off. But anyways, no, I know what she is. She's Korean. That's fighting words. She'll fight me for that, for calling her Korean. Not so bad Chinese, but she does not, you know, anyways. So, but I get it. You know, if Catherine's not your bag, I get it. I love Catherine. She's great. Kate and Catherine get along. A lot of people like what she's got to say. They've done a lot of good stuff, and I'm supportive of what they're doing over there, and I want to hear it, and I want to be part of it. After Saturday, we'll go back to like a normal routine. She won't be on every other night. You know, it is what it is. So just chill. We got 2 more days. We'll get through it. We got a good show lined up for you tomorrow. A lot of important stuff. It'll be an exciting night. It's almost like the night before the election. And then Saturday will be the big election. So we'll see what happens. You guys take care. Have a wonderful rest of your Thursday. Have a brilliant Friday. We'll see you here tomorrow at 9 p.m. on the dot. Take care of yourselves. God bless each and every one of you. Hit the thumb on your way out the door. And we'll see you later. Goodbye.